Hey, first of all, I want to thank joining us on the phone, the mayor of Lexington, Jim Gray. Mayor, how are you doing, sir?
Matt, how in the world are you? I have missed you so much. I knew when this latest announcement came up that I would be hearing from you. How are you?
Well, you did. You certainly did. Let's start by this.
That's all right.
Tell everybody, who maybe didn't get to see the press conference or who hasn't seen a lot of the coverage, you guys said this was a major announcement on Wednesday in 30 seconds or less. What did you announce Wednesday, and what is different now about the project than maybe just a few days ago?
The Lexington Center Corporation Board, the owner of Rupp Arena and the Civic Center, announced the selection of NBBJ Architects and Hunt Construction Group. NBBJ is the architects for the arena, and Hunt Construction as the construction managers. These are the world's best talent in arena design and construction. NBBJ, for example, is they designed Staples Center, among others, the renovations, the reinvention of Pauley, and Hunt just finished Barclays in Brooklyn. That's 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me ask you, you mentioned the reinvention. I'm going to be honest. I like to be plain spoken.
I know that, Matt. I'm ready. Hey, I got to tell you, I got three emails saying good luck on Kentucky Sports Network. I've never gotten that.
Well, look, this was called for a long time, the renovation of Rupp Arena. Now it's the reinvention of Rupp Arena. Can you do me a favor and not use corporate speak terrible words like reinvention? It was the Rupp renovation forever. Why is it now the Rupp reinvention?
I've always
Can we not just speak in normal terms? Is that possible?
Hold on, Oscar. Hold on, man. Listen, I've always called it the reinvention, and there's a purpose in that, because when people think renovation, they think you're putting a paint job on it. This is nothing like that. This is the equivalent of new.
Now, you mentioned it with we talked about that before, but let people, I know there's not a design yet, but when you talk about, what is it, when you say it's the equivalent of new,
I'll say better than new.
That means. What does that mean?
Because it's better than new, because what it means is you're going to have the inside of the arena entirely reconditioned, all right? You're going to have an upper bowl, chair backs, concourse, new, convening spaces, new. You're going to have a center hung scoreboard. So all the video, all that animates the inside of the arena itself is going to be new. The exterior, you're going to be able to see that there's an arena there. So that then it becomes a remarkable place. And it's, I think you've said from the beginning, it's all about the fan experience. Those who are actually there, and all of your audience and all the Big Blue Nation that cares about the program, elevating the program. It's all about...
Yeah, so it's all about the fan experience. Now, the last time you were on with me, I think it was about a year ago, maybe a little less, when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
I said to you at that point, part of my problem with this entire thing was that the group of people making the decisions did not include fans, just average fans. Now, you mentioned, and you made a good point, that a lot of the business people that were on were also fans, but that there wasn't sort of the average upper deck ticket holder or the person who gets to come to one or two games a year. And you said to me at that time, well, we'll see about that. Maybe we'll work on that. Is there anyone like that on the board now, or is it the same group?
You're talking about the board. Well, as we go through the design process, Matt, there are going to be opportunities for public engagement. When I say public engagement, that means fan engagement. Now, these guys who design these arenas, that done it, just mention those names, they're all about the process of being inclusive, being collaborative, trying to get the best ideas. Now, there's limitations on all of these projects. There's budget limitations. I know we're going to come to that. Financing. There's space limitations. Those are the constraints, though, that make for good projects. You know, for better or worse, I mean, it could be a benefit, it could be a disadvantage, but I've done 850 projects in my lifetime in the construction business. Now, not doing arenas, but big projects. And all projects have the same process. They're like good problem solving is about putting the puzzle together one piece at a time. And that's what we've done. I've said from the beginning, you know, this is a process that has a bunch of steps to it. I want to do it myself, from my point of view, the right way and not just right away. So including those who have a stake in it, the fans, your people, hey, that's a big deal.
So the answer is no. You guys still haven't.
The answer is not no. What do you mean?
Well, no, what I'm saying is we talked about the actual the board that Brent Rice is the chair of. I think it includes Joe B. Hall and some other folks. And we talked about, for instance, I'll give you this. Is there anyone that's in the process of making these decisions that is a season ticket holder in the upper deck? Is there anyone that sits in the upper deck of Rupp Arena making these decisions?
When I appreciate how you've singled right in there. I'm hearing you. I'm listening. And I'm thinking.
I think the answer is no. I mean, I've looked into it, and we talked about this. And I don't question anyone involved, yours included, your motives or anything like that. But when I hear, for instance, and this will go to another point about the possibility of naming rights being sold.
Yeah.
Okay. From an economic perspective, I understand why one might do that. But there is a level of that gets at the average everyday fan. So let's start with this. Is it possible that the name of Rupp Arena could be sold to a corporation?
Is it possible that the name of Rupp Arena could be sold to I have said, I was just quoted in the paper yesterday, that I'm very keen on the history and the legacy of Rupp Arena. And I would not be inclined to support that. Now, we've got to work through a full business model here. And I'm not giving you any nuance. I'm just telling you that's the reality, that we've got to work through a full business model. And it's like what Coach Hall said. He said, hey, I'm not against a company's name like Ashland Rupp Arena or Alltech Rupp Arena.
So the answer is yes. It could have a corporation as part of it. Is that right?
I'm saying that it could.
Okay. We talked about this yesterday. If you look at the historically great programs in college basketball and football, Duke, Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Indiana basketball, and football, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, none of those programs have a corporate name attached to the arena. Do you want Kentucky to be the first?
What I've said is we got to go through this process. And there are going to be some constraints. There are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some decisions that have to be made. Do you want to improve the program, or do you want to limit it? I'm asking the question to you.
You think without a corporate name, it limits the program?
No, wait a minute. Do you want to improve the program? You've said that you believe that a renovation, a full renovation, and a as new or better than new arena with all the history of that arena is a good thing now. You have said that, right?
I totally agree with that.
Okay, all right.
Mayor, but let me finish since you asked me. I don't necessarily think to do that you have to call it Alltech Arena.
I don't either.
I think because every other school in the country has found a way to not have.
And you left out Rupp when you said Alltech Arena.
Or Alltech Rupp Arena. I don't think you need to do that.
Huh? Wait. Do it.
I don't think you need to make it Alltech Rupp Arena. First of all, how much money? How much money? If
I wasn't dealing with if those who are working on the business plan, that's where we are today. We got to get the business plan together, the financing plan. There are 14 revenue streams. Hey, it would be ideal. It would be wonderful. I've said that you don't need the revenue that might be generated through some adjustments and the naming rights. That'd be ideal. That's what I'm for. That's what I'm for first.
So from what that makes sense to me. So from what I'm hearing from you, you're saying to me that there will not be a corporate name on Rupp unless that's the only way it could be built. Am I right?
Right.
That?
Yeah. I mean, that is where you want to go, because I'm myself personally. I mean, kind of like you, kind of like the fans. I love it that it's Rupp Arena. That's part of what's driven this, is taking all of that wonderful, extraordinary history and leveraging it through something that really lifts us up in a contemporary way, and elevates the program and elevates the brand.
Now, I'm going to hold you to that.
I know you are, but hey, I told you that I'm going to work as hard as I can.
But I'm going to hold you to this. You said it will not happen unless it's the only way the arena can get built. Am I correct on that?
That's exactly right. That is your last string in this that says, in order to get this project done, we're going to need the naming right, the lift that would require.
All right. Let's move to something else. Part of this, from what I understand of the project, it's not just Rupp Arena. It's also the convention center, and we sort of hear this phrase of an entertainment or economic district.
Well, you've talked about fan experience, right? Is the fan experience a before and after an event?
Yeah. What I was getting at is,
okay.
I have a worry that potentially that part of it is being essentially put on the backs of the UK season ticket holders and UK fans. Essentially, the entertainment and economic district might be something you guys couldn't get done on its own. And there'll be a lot of popularity for Rupp Arena, so you sort of attach this to it. Is that a fair criticism or not?
Look, I've learned in this job, Matt, to expect the trapdoors and the sinister models. Rupp Arena is the iconic opportunity here, right? That is what is driving the whole project. Now, if we can create and enhance the fan experience that's working around the arena, don't you want that? Haven't you seen that at these other places? Where are you right now?
The devil's in the details there.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you mean.
I say that every day.
if you're saying to me, would I like the convention area around the arena to be nice, the answer would be yes. If you're saying to me, would I like a park outside with streams where we could walk around, I don't know. I mean, the devil's in the details. So what would that district...
Right. Every puzzle goes together one piece at a time. I love it. Well, what you said, you and I are on the same theme, right? The devil's in the details. Yep.
Yeah.
And the convening space, all of the space, the space around it, the way that space is animated, all right, the way that you feel that energy when you're entering the arena, right, before and after the game, all of that's a big deal. That's why we've got the best in the country and the world on the project.
Well, all right, a couple quick questions because I know you got to go.
No.
Financing.
You're the one's busy.
The financing of this project.
Yes.
When do you expect to know if the financing will get done? And I guess secondarily with that, when we'll know whether or not you have to sell the naming right. I would assume that's something that's got to come quick. Am I right about that?
Our plan is the next 60 to 90 days. We're pulling all this together. Now, why is it that you don't have the financing that, that says this is it, it's all together? There are 14 potential revenue streams that finance a project. Now, bear in mind, for example, Matt, Louisville acquired 7 acres of property and took down an electrical substation and paid almost $70 million for that, for 7 acres and taking that substation down. All right, we've got 46 acres that the city today owns. All right, so part of our revenue model, part of our financing plan includes how are we going to create more lift, how are we going to create a more robust business model. That includes the opportunities like we were just talking about naming rights. So you got a lot of moving parts in a financing plan. And part of those moving parts are a very clear program. Program is the word that we use program for the basketball program, all right, for the sports program. We in the design and engineering construction business, we use program for defining the scope. What is it that we're going to build here? What are we going to design into this project? Then from that we go to estimates, budgets, contract. They examine all the costs, the structural costs, the heating, ventilating, air conditioning costs, the roof costs. We got to beef up the roof system in order to accommodate the center hung scoreboard, right?
So
all the equipment that's associated with the video systems, right? The new animations there. So all of that drives our financing model. So that's what I meant by, you say, well, looks like you know how much you're going to spend right out of the gate. Not exactly. First, we got to determine what the costs are for the scope, the program that we're going to be building.
Final question for you. The thing that stuck out the most to me, you guys really promoted this announcement. So it was a major announcement. You were there. The governor was there. Brent Price, is the head of the commission there, was there. But there were some people not there. President University was not there. Mitch Barnhart, the athletic director, was not there. The basketball coach, John Calipari, was not there. I know there was a representative, but they sent a representative who no one knows. But the three main figureheads were not there. Should people read anything into that? And why weren't they there, in your opinion?
Hey, the university are good business people. And today, the university, in good faith, and I say in good spirits, are working with the city, have held meetings and negotiations. And the operative word is negotiations. I said they're good business people. They're going to negotiate, and they're going to say, we're still in this negotiating, and we're not going to throw our hat here completely in this, publicly maybe perhaps yet. But they did have their representative there and the chief financial officer of the university, Eric Mundy. And he's the lead in the negotiations. So, at the right time.
Well, but I like
remember, Mitch.
Mayor, hang on just a second. Mayor, hang on.
Wait a minute.
I like you. I like you, Mayor, but listen, the governor. Listen, I like you, Mayor, but let's be. I like it better when you're real with me. Okay, when you're real with me. The governor of the state, Steve Beshear, was there, and you were there.
Yeah.
And you all are not the head of the negotiations. You're figureheads. You're the city mayor and the governor. UK didn't send its figurehead. Don't you think that matters?
Didn't send its Oh, absolutely. I said, hey, they're in negotiations, and it's their decision, even though they're in good spirits and good faith negotiations with us. They felt like it was premature because, hey, we want to negotiate from a position of strength, I'm sure they're thinking, and this might be premature for us to say we're in here full steam. That's okay. I do believe that the president has said this to me routinely. We support this vision. Now, we want to make sure that it's bona fide, that we got the money for it, the funding for it, and it doesn't compromise the university and our core mission at the campus. And that it doesn't send signals to our faculty that we're way too, much behind perhaps, the steam in this project. Because that's always a challenge that Matt, that the university president has with his faculty, that it's too much about sports. So, that's all understandable.
Well, Mayor, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. The thing I take from it, and I'm going to hold you to it, you're telling me that if we hear you sell the naming rights of Rupp Arena, it was because there was no other way to do it. I'll remember that quote. Just
you
so
bet,
you know. But I do appreciate
no other way to do it and achieve the level of the standard, the gold standard that the coach talked about. But do I want to do it? No. I would put an adjective in front of that, but I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean.
I do. Mayor, thank you very much.
Matt, thank you, and thanks to all your fans that support the Big Blue Nation. Thanks, buddy.